Okay, so we're going to start with something that is very important, which is to be in the room. So I'm going to invite you to place both feet on the ground, please. And notice your hands. See if you can place them on your lap comfortably. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. So you don't need to look at me. Don't worry. I'm not judging. Yeah. And then I want you to notice in between the eyes. See if you're clenching there. And notice means we don't judge it. We just notice. If it's clenched, then see if you can release it. If it doesn't want to release, let that go. And then notice the jaw. See if you can slightly open the mouth. Notice the shoulders. See if they can release a little bit more. Good. Notice the sensation on the fingers where they're placed onto your lap. Notice how your feet are touching the ground, how your shoes feel. Good. And so from here, you can do your own way of doing it, or you can listen to me. I want you to inhale for 3, 2, 1, and exhale 3, 2, 1. Very good. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Great. With your eyes closed and in this space, I want you to notice your body. Once again, we're noticing without judging. We're just noticing, yeah, my belly is hungry. My jaw feels really tight. I'm wondering what I'm doing in this workshop. What is she going to make me do next? Why am I sitting here? Whatever, right? I want you to notice and bring awareness to where do you feel that you need the most support, the most love, the most compassion in your body. And it could be a multitude of places. But for this exercise, I'd like you to choose just one and see if possible you could place your hand on that part of your body that might need some extra love. Maybe it's your heart because something's going on in your life that is breaking your heart. Maybe it's your head because you're full of thoughts that are not good for you, or you're stressed. Maybe it's your shoulders. So once again, we're not judging here. We're just playing with the idea of placing our hand on a part of our body that might need some extra love. Great. Once you have found that place, I'd like you to continue to inhale and exhale. And with the exhale, I want you to play with the idea of when you're exhaling, you're sending lots of energy out of your hands to this one particular part of your body. If that doesn't work for you, completely ignore it. Continue to place the hands there. And whatever mantra works for you, it's okay. I've got your back. I'm totally here. You don't have to do this alone. I want you to say that to this part of your body. Good. From here, we're going to move on. And we're going to need to have our hands back onto our laps. And when you're ready, your eyes to be open. Cool. Great. So we're going to go a little bit more into play. So thank you for staying in the room. Okay, so we're going to go into breathing. Right? What we just did there was mindful breathing, if you want to label that. You know, for me, I've been doing yoga for 25 years. I still don't sit crisscross applesauce and meditate. It doesn't work for me. It's never worked for me. So I think we live in a society where this is how you have to do it, right? And I'm here to encourage you and invite you to maybe take my suggestions, but create your own, right? Because first of all, I'm not you. And second of all, I'm not an expert of you. I'm here to suggest, bring ideas. The overall goal is how can we take care of ourselves and how can we get back into the body and get back into the choice where we feel more empowered, where life isn't happening at us, where we get to choose what we want to do in that moment. And the only time in my experience that I can do that is when I feel grounded. When I'm reacting, I'm not grounded, right? So these are skills and tools to play with and not one size fits all. So I could breathe really chill because that moment may not be as triggering, but there is no way I can breathe really chill when I'm triggered, right? I need to run, I need to do other things, right? So I'm going to give you all different modalities. So we're going to go into play. So in yoga, this is actually a yogic breath, and I teach this to children because they love it. Parents, not so much, but we're going to do it. It's perfect to do in Trader Joe's when you're really upset that you're online for too long. Nobody judges you. I'm just kidding. No, it's good to do in the car, right? Because where do you think the place we hold the most stress? Here. And for me, if I know when I'm really stressed, when this starts to hurt, and then it goes down to my shoulders, and then it goes down to my stomach, and then it, right, all the way down. And we do all this exercise, and we take all these classes that are moving us, but like the whole time, right? So I'm going to play here with my favorite breath. It's called lion's breath. And you're actually going to do it too, okay? So you know, I'm the only one that can see you doing it. And trust me, I will not judge you. All right, you're all facing this way, so no one else can see you do it, yeah? Just a FYI, because I know play can be a little bit like, why is she making me do this? Why? I get that, yeah? But I'm going to encourage you to do it anyways, because A, what do you have to lose? And B, they're not filming you, they're filming me, yeah? So I will do it in front of you first. The most important thing is that you can play any way you want. Notice that I kind of add a little something, something to it, but that's because I like to do it that way, okay? So when I inhale, I take a big inhale. When I exhale, I'm going to stick out my tongue and open my mouth. I'll show you. Now, I like to stick my booty out because that makes me feel a little bit more, and my kids like to go, right? And some of my kids go, cool, right? What am I doing? I'm releasing my jaw. So if you have children or if you teach children or you're around children, this is a really fun thing to do. A, they think you're being silly, but you're actually encouraging them with a tool that's really important. How can they release their jaw? How can they get back into different moments when they're feeling stressed? So kids know how to do it like that. Adults, not so much, right? We need a little bit more redirect, a little bit more, yeah? So we're going to do this together. Cool? Most important, feet are on the ground. You can stand up if you're like, I don't need this chair. It's limiting. I want to let my roar out. Cool. Looks like we're all going to sit down. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, yeah. One more. Inhale. Very good, lions. Very good, everyone. Class is dismissed. Okay, so the second kind of breath that I like to play with is involving the shoulders. And what this does is it brings attention to where we're holding most of our tension, right? Attention to tension. Yeah. So when I inhale, I bring my shoulders super duper 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 high. Kids like this because their ears have to touch their shoulders. Go a little bit higher. Go a little bit higher, and then I want you to exhale completely, let it go. Yeah, good. Inhale. Higher, 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 let go. Good. Next, what I like to do is we use our fingers, yeah, and we touch the top of our head. So I'm going to invite you to do this, but not ask me why we're doing it yet. Cool? Because in play, you don't really know. Here we go. We're going to count to 10 out loud while we tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My kids love this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Why do I do that? Any ideas? There's no wrong answers in play. Why am I doing that? I'm getting back into my body, right? When we are in stress-related things, which is primarily our day-to-day. Got it? Stress isn't just like, that was stressful. No, we are living in stressful times, period, end of story. Our adrenals are like this, we don't have this. We're like this, we don't have this, right? So, for me, it's a refocus. So before I came in here, I was like, 1, 2, 3. Because I was starting to have this, what I'm going to really go into today, mental toxin of self-talk. When I hear mental toxins, when I hear stress, when I hear overwhelm, the only thing I come back to is, how am I talking to myself? How am I talking to myself? You are mad at me. How do I respond to you? I'm a bad person. I'm never going to make any friends. I can't believe I did this. Okay, so we're going to dive into something that, for me, is ripping off the Band-Aid and talking about, let's breathe and play. No. We're going to talk about the core. Because all of that serves a purpose. I'm a yoga teacher. I teach all this stuff. But if we don't get to the nitty-gritty, we're just covering over, right? Does that make sense? So we're going to play with asking ourselves more questions. We're going to explore more with curiosity. And from there, we can look at how can I play with these toxins in my brain. Because most often, we have more power than those toxins. Does that make sense? We're more in charge. So these things are a way of kind of getting back into the body. Right? And you can do it in 5 seconds. When you're like, I don't have any time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But when can I do it? You'll find a way. You'll find a way. Here's my suggestion. I'm super duper busy, right? And I love that excuse. That's like my favorite thing to say. I have no time, right? Because I, on some level, am not allowing myself to take care of myself, right? So I have set a number one mantra. Every transition, when I'm going to my job, when I'm picking up my daughter, when I'm going, I take 1 minute in my car and I do something that's not on my cell phone, okay, where it could be just literally sitting there, right? Boredom is great. Like I sit there, and then from there, I enter into the situation. Okay, so we're going to talk about choice and how we live with life. So here's my thing. I got old school. I'm sorry I don't use the thing. Sorry, I don't use that. I'm going to use markers, okay? So we're going to talk about play. So it's interesting because every time, I've been teaching play for 20-something years. I know I look like I'm in my 20s, but I'm just kidding. My whole life. Just kidding. Okay, I've been teaching play. And for me, actually, I'll be very honest. When I first started teaching play, it was about, let's have fun, right? I'd go into corporate sectors. I'd get people to do this theater improv stuff, which is totally cool, right? I still do it. We would be like laughing, and they were like, that's so cool. And then they would leave, and they moved on to their lives and never used that again, right? So it was an hour of fun, which is great, but there was no implementation. So I started wondering and doing more research and playing and working more with children because they are the geniuses of play, by the way. You should hang out with a child once a day, if you can. Because I realized that play is not about doing. And I was getting stuck in that. I was getting stuck in, how can I play more in my life? It became another thing. I had to literally add on, do laundry, play. You know, it's like, oh, I was so frustrated. Okay? So for me, play is more of how I see life. Okay? And what I mean by that is play is life. So I'm in a relationship here. This is a scene where you are all in my play with me. And I'm the one in charge, right, of how I'm going to participate in this play. It's how I look at life. So if I'm in an argument with someone on the sandbox at my playground, I'm the one in charge of how I want to relate to that person. So play isn't really about doing or cartwheels or Play-Doh, right? It's how I look at life. It's my outlook at life. And the reason why I think that's really, really important is because, dun, 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 this is a big part of our culture. Shame. I'm a recovering shame person. I probably could have written thousands of books on how to make yourself feel really bad. I was a genius at it. I could make a moment where it's like, that was such a good presentation, and I would find a way to make myself wrong or feel bad for it. Okay? And that's because of anything, of, my way I was brought up, but nonetheless, shame is our go-to. It's where we always go to as a culture. And it is a mental toxin. So I've been curious more, how do I look at shame? And the one thing that keeps coming up, and with children, by the way, is self-talk. We're going to talk about this. What is your relationship to yourself? So, for example, when I work with children, maybe you can bring this into your life in a different way, or with your families if you have children. I'm becoming more aware of how kids say things. It's mindset. It's how we approach life. So if I'm teaching a problem, say a math problem, right? And they come to the lesson saying, I'm not good at math. Oh, this is going to be so hard. I hate math. I'm going to be so bad at this. It's like, ugh. It's like complete negativity, right? I could be like, that's not okay to talk like that. Or just sit down and get, like I want to say that. I'm not going to lie because I need to get on with it, right? But it's a moment. It's a teaching moment. Why do I think it's a teaching moment? Because I'm them. Because right before I come up here, I hear it. It's a mental download. They're not going to understand what you're saying. Why are you even here? You're not a good speaker. And I'm saying this out loud because it's what's true. It's what's happening in my brain, right? What do I do with that? How do I participate with that? I play. I become more curious. Is that true? What's another way of looking at this? So, in order to do that, I have to get my students, not have to, but choose to get my students to become more aware. So when they say things like that, they have to literally stop and do the chicken dance. They do this. They have to do this. And some of them laugh. They're like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it's funny. And some of them are like, why am I doing this? And I do it because for children, it's an experience. I talk negatively about something, I have to do the chicken dance. It's bringing attention. See, I go, okay, how else can you say that? I need more practice in math. Yes, how else can you say that? I probably am really good at math. How else can you say that? This is probably not as hard as it's going to be. Why? Why do I invite them into that play that way? Because they only can participate and learn when they're in a space that's higher vibrationally. And the only person that can do that is them. I can't do that for them. I can say, you're so good at math, over and over and over. It doesn't matter. If they don't feel it, if they don't experience it, even if they're making it up to get into that space, that's a better place to be. And this isn't just about kids' play. We do this every day, right? How do I enter into situations when I'm already down on it? When I'm already like, this is going to be hard, or I'm so tired, or this person is so annoying, or this person will never like me. It's like being more aware of how you talk. Because actually the worst critic of ourselves is ourselves. The person that is creating more toxicity is ourselves. Yes? Am I alone in that? Okay, good. Okay, we're going to do a game. Because I keep talking about play, yeah? But I can talk for hours, trust me. Ask my daughter. I never, ever stop talking. But we're going to play. And the reason why I want to play is because it's not something I can talk about. It's the only thing is for you to experience it, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath, because nobody's breathing now. Pin drop. What we're going to do, now everyone's going to go to the bathroom. It's like... Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to leave everything that we're holding on to, and we're just going to stand up. Yeah, perfect. Great. We're already there. Cool. So I don't know any of your names. This is a simple name game. And, what would be cool is if you're doing it, you can maybe face so everybody can see you, or not. It's up to you. I don't know how to do it because of the chairs. I've never had chairs before. I'm playing with it. I can do it. You have two choices. Right? I'm starting with a simple game. You can say your name, right? Right? And we all say it back to you, so we mirror it back to you. So if I say Jenny, you say my name back. Jenny. If I say it like this, Jenny! Say it back. Jenny! You kind of have to do it the same way. Ready? Jenny! Jenny! That's better. Okay, we're going to start with you.
Jane!
Jane! Great. You.
Jenny!
Your name. Is your name Jenny?
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon. Good.
Alex.
Alex. Donna.
Lori.
Lori. Amy. Win. Mary. Jennifer. Christy. Donna. Bonnie. Christina.
Trevor.
Oh, sorry. Trevor. Good. You're going to say your name, then. You just came in. Well, very good. You may sit down. Oh, Olivia. Go.
Olivia.
Stand up. Sorry.
Olivia.
Olivia. She's like my favorite teacher, actually. I teach her. She's my teacher. Great. Let me sit down. By raising your hands, please know that I don't take anything personal. And if I do my own work around it, okay? I've been doing this way too long. Okay? I won't project or like tweet about you when I leave, unless I do. No, I'm just kidding. Passive aggressive. Okay. How did that feel? Raise your hand. Raise your hand and tell me. Great? What felt great about it?
It was silly. It was fun.
Great. Anything else? Doesn't have to be positive.
Nervous.
Nervous. Thank you for your honesty.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Was it uncomfortable because everyone was looking at you?
Yeah, probably.
Great. Anything else?
Connection.
Connection? Cool. Yes. Silly. Great. How'd that feel? You're like, it's literal. It's actually very little. Good. Anything else? Good. Anything else? Good. These are the things that I'm curious about when I say, how did it feel? And I invite you to be curious about that too. Because there really isn't anything wrong, right? I felt embarrassed. I felt silly, and investigate. So often we forget to just investigate. How did that make me feel? Okay. So when I talk about investigation and self-talk, there's two feelings that I find in our culture that most people don't want to play with or lean into, as I say. And the first one is anger. And the second one is grief. So most often than not, if we're not having a relationship to these feelings, it is creating more toxins than we need. And I am a big fan of anger. Like literally, I do workshops all across the world, not the world, the country, doing play, compassion, and anger. Because those three things are really beautiful together, okay? Compassion is key. But who in this room has a solid, healthy relationship to anger? Great. Who in this room has a solid relationship to grief? Raise your hand. Right. Those two feelings, we are not allowed to have a healthy relationship to. We're not taught in school. No one explains how to handle anger. So for me, using play and different modalities helps have more relationship to these feelings. Because when I think about mental toxins, I think about the feelings that we are not allowed. We kind of put them over here. It's like anger. Oh, I don't know about you, but I was told that I wasn't allowed to be angry. Angry wasn't allowed in my house. I had to look good. I had to smile. Everything had to be perfect. So when I hit my 20s, wow, hello, anger. It was like a volcano of explosion. And I didn't know what to do. I had to create a new relationship to it. And now anger is a fuel for me. It's a healthy fuel. I am feeling angry. What does that mean? What is this showing me? What is this showing me? I'm so curious about this, as opposed to, why is this happening to me? I'm a victim. I can't do any, it's like, okay, this is happening. This is actually really hard. This is really painful. What is it showing me? What is the opportunity here for me? It shifts the playing ground, where you are one in charge of entering into the play, as opposed to the play happening to you. And it's more of a childlike wonder. I like telling this story because it reminds me of my adult life, and where sometimes I take on things where I don't need to take them on. So I'll give you the example. I was at a playground with my daughter. She was 4-ish, and there was these two same age playing in the sandbox, and I wasn't stalking them. I was sitting there watching my daughter, but I was observing, and they were playing, and one kid took the bucket, and the other kid's like, I don't like when you take my bucket, and so the other kid grabbed it back, and it was like back and forth, back and forth. They couldn't share. Obviously, they're kids, like, cool, that's supposed to happen. So the other kid grabbed the bucket and stomped off dramatically, and came back and played again. And it wasn't a very long, dramatic exit. It's like, oh, I actually still want to play with this person. It was like quick. And I was struck by that. Like that. And I know that's how kids play, but for some reason that day really hit me. And I like to reenact it as an adult, right? So we're in a relationship, and you're taking my sandbox, and you're really hurting me, and you're betraying me, or I don't like that, or you're, right? Whatever situation we like to make as adults. The exit is not that quick. The exit happens, we call our friends, we post about it on Facebook, we make a whole other story, we talk it over and over and over again. It triggers all the stuff that happened in my childhood. I'm going to go eat, I'm going to go, whatever. For me it was, call my therapist and complain that this pattern is going on and on and on in my life. But I'm curious if it has to be that way. Does it? Does everything have to be that way? Do we have to go to everyone's circus and play with them? Or can we not play? Or can we leave and go, you know what? What is my goal in this situation? My goal is to participate with this person. Can I enter back into this and be more empowered and make a different choice? Because we can. It might look different. You might come back and be like, that really hurt my feelings. Can we talk about it? But sometimes we create more toxicity, we create more stress with how we respond. And I thought that was really interesting. Every time I'm in some sort of conflict, I think of those two little kids and wonder if it can be that easy or easier than I'm creating it to be. Because I'm the one in charge. I'm the one that's in charge of this whole situation for me, not the other person. Yeah? Okay. Do I have time to do one more? I think I do. Yay! Okay, ready? Stand up. So this game, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, but we need to be in a circle. Maybe we can figure this out together. We need to be in a circle. So if you can come maybe up here. Yep, in a circle. Great, thank you. Thank you for trusting me. No one's breathing. Big circle. Yep. Perfect, yeah, excellent. Great. Great. I know it is so natural. We're like, you go back to our primary school years, it's like immediate. Okay, great. So we're going to play a game. Once again, this makes no sense, right? It's just a play game. So I'm the one in charge of doing all the work, so just you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think. So I'm going to make a sound and a movement, okay? I'm going to pass my sound and movement this way, and you're going to pass my sound and movement all the way back to me. Yeah? Any questions? The intention is to see how quickly we can do it. And because you're not thinking, it should be pretty quick. Yeah? Let's go. Breathe. You ready, Olivia? Good. 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 I'm going to do one more. That's good! Okay. How about you make one? Which way are you going to go?
I'll go this way.
Great. Good. Good. Very good. Okay, that was good. I have one more, and then we're going to talk about it. All right, I have an object. Once again, this makes no sense. Okay? I have an object. Just playing. And it could be light. It could be heavy, right? But I'm going to pass my object over, and then it creates into a new object. And then you pass it, and it creates into a new object. Any kind you want. You can also add sound, if that feels good to you. Cool? If you're like, I don't want to do it, just do that. Everyone's going to be like, okay, ready? Good. Good. Nice. Very good. Yeah, nice. Very good. Okay, you two are going to face each other. You two are going to face each other. You two. You two. You two. You two. You two. You two. Great. The person I tap, you will know your role. You guys are doing great. You can keep breathing now. You are the leader. This is a quiet exercise. It's sort of like follow the leader. I call it mirror, mirror. Would you like to see an example before you do it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have Olivia be my person. Thank you, Olivia. You're such a champ. Okay. So I'm the leader, and the first part of this, I have to be honest, when I started learning this, I learned this in theater school, I did not like it. Why? Because someone was looking at me. It made me feel very uncomfortable. And that's interesting. It's not like, what's wrong with me? Oh, that's interesting. Just be interested. Oh, I'm not breathing. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Cool. Just be aware. So she's going to lead. You can be the leader. And I'm going to follow her. All right? I'm going to say action, and that's when it begins. Action. Good. Then I yell, freeze. And we look at each other once again. A little hard for me. Yeah? And then I start because I didn't get a turn. All right? Action. Good. And then freeze. Got it? Thank you. Very good. Thank you. All right. So raise your hand if I tapped you. You are the leader. So what we do is we start by looking at each other, looking at your partner. Let's take a big inhale and exhale and action. Just let your body do whatever it wants. You don't have to think. Very good. Good. And freeze. Very good. All right. Face your partner. Raise your hand if you did not go. You were not the leader last time. Okay. You will now be the leader. And action. Very good. Good. And freeze. Very good. Here are your last instructions. I want you to find a way to thank each other, but without saying a word. Find a way to thank each other without saying a word. It could be any way. There's no wrong way. And then once you've done that, you may sit down in your seats. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So how did that feel? Raise your hand if anyone has anything to say. I noticed a couple of things that were super cool. Any observations? Fun. Great. Any noticing like how you felt while you were doing it, before you were doing it? No? Freedom. Cool. Healthy. Great.
Performance anxiety.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, stress of not doing it how, like exactly the way I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Good. These are great. Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of like the reflection of ourselves coming back at us. But the other thing, too, is maybe we all came in here with different energy or feelings or whatever, so now we're actually seeing it.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. Yeah, I mean, it is someone looking back at us and doing exactly what we're doing. And that's, for me, was the hardest part because I didn't want to see myself. And that was something that I had to look at. I don't want to see myself. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to investigate that. It's important. I have to do it right. That's another one of mine. I'm very good at that. I'm like really good at it. I need to do this right. And at the end of the day, it stifles us from really embracing what's actually going on in the world. And play is life. You know, we don't have to do it right. In fact, we don't really know what we're doing. Like literally. I have to say, Jenny, no one knows what they're doing. You know, like literally. We're literally doing our best. We're making it up as we go along. It's like having kids. I don't know what I'm doing. Majority of the time, I'm trying. I have great intention. But if we continue to remind ourselves, it's that compassion piece, that continue, like, how can I approach this differently? Why do I have to do this perfectly? Is it okay to mess up? I think someone had their hand raised. Did you have your hand raised? Yeah.
And my feeling was calm and safe.
Safe, great. Oh, that's nice. These are all great. All of them are great. Yeah.
A suggestion about the breathing thing.
The breathing thing.
When you needed your line thing to start with.
Yeah.
I rented a room out in my house, and I had a man that lived in my home with me for a while. And every morning he'd do his yoga. He'd go, and I had to start my day, and you talk about a little bit with anger. I thought, oh, Jesus, I don't need this in the morning.
Oh, he would wake you up.
You want to do your breathing thing, do it in your bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Do it in the bathroom. Do it someplace where the other person isn't going to get irritated.
Yeah.
See what anger is. Because every day.
Yeah.
And I had to start
That's valid. That's actually really, that's valid, yes. Especially pre-coffee, yeah.
I didn't miss it when you left.
Yeah. Great, any questions? Yeah.
Not a question, but after my husband died, I wasn't aware that I was doing it, but I was, like you say, itching my teeth to the point that I loosened 4 molars, and the pain was shooting up my face towards my eyeball, and it was worse than labor.
Wow.
And I wish I thought about just keeping my mouth open and breathing technique.
Also, the grief, I mean, I'm going to just mirror back to you that we do not know, how, the magnitude of grief in our bodies. And I know I lost both my parents, and I did not, I thought I knew what I was doing, but before that, no. Now you know. Now you have the tools, and I think it's important to have that compassion piece and be like, I should have done this then, right? But, we only show up to it the way that we know how to show up to it. And grief is really something that, as a culture, we are not holding space for people as much as we should. And I think we do our best. People are like walking on eggshells. How you doing? I'm like, pissed, that's how I'm doing. And they're like, oh, there aren't 4 stages of grief. Like everyone says, it's like 4 lifetimes. It doesn't go away. It just shifts and changes and shows up in our bodies in different ways. It's like, I think for me, it's how do I want to hold space for myself in that moment? How do I want to go into this with love? Does that make sense? Because, that's a profound loss, yeah? And now we can breathe. Now I know the tools, but sometimes I forget. And I have to remember that that's okay too, right? Does that make sense? Any other questions or comments? It's like an hour to touch upon a lot of different things. But my overall intention was we are the ones in charge of how we play. And the life isn't happening to us. It may feel that way at times, and it may feel like it's too much. And in those moments, it's the most important to lighten up and be curious about how you can take care of yourselves in those moments. And sometimes it doesn't look like how all the experts tell you. You are the only one that knows, Like some people are like, I think, Jenny, what's going to be good for you is if you, and I'm like, no, I think Jenny, and everybody means well, but it's reverse. Okay, what's going to be good for me? And then from there, I go out into the world. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Grief management? I'm going to say no on that. Kubler-Ross wrote a book, The 4 Stages of Grief. And, I feel that anger and grief are like best friends. Most often than not, when I'm angry, I'm grieving something. And I think we get stuck at the anger. And so for me, these different ways of approaching get me to kind of knock it down a bit. Like, okay, actually at the core of this, I'm in deep pain that this person hurt me. I feel hurt. So I think when you're working with children specifically, they express anger quite vividly. Wow, okay. And that's cool because they are still learning, yeah? So with them, I want them to be able to say, I'm mad, and get that out and do all the games that we do and move it, and what color is that, and roar like a lion. And then there's also the second step that you come back, and they're like, how are you feeling now? I'm sad. Yeah, it's clockwork. It's never here, Too often than not, we kind of get stuck on here, and we don't go here. And that's where the nugget is. It's like we're complex human beings. So the more I can lighten up and not get it right, and not put that, I think perfection is like the number one, killer of creativity. We are creative human beings. We're here to create play after play after play after play. And that's really why we're here, to experience ourselves in this play. But if we're trying to do it right, we literally can't, right? So perfection is something I continue to work on my whole life. It's like embedded. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but I think my experience is that women have it for some reason it's magnified, mothers have it magnified. It's like, we can't do it all. No one can, So it's a matter of really being together and supporting each other in this non-perfection way of playing. Like, hey, you don't have to do it right. It's all good. You're doing great. Great job. When students mess up, I'm like, awesome! I had to train my brain when I made a mistake to do the chicken dance on my own way. I was like, I made a mistake. Like, I had to retrain how I celebrate those things, or at least not shut myself down. And to me, that's play. But no, I don't think we have grief management. I may be wrong about that. I think it's the number one thing that we most likely need the most educated, most educated on as a culture, is grief and anger, that it's okay. In fact, if you go to a playground, you're going to see those two emotions repeatedly over and over and over again. It's a part of life. So we don't need to protect our children from it. We need to teach them the skills to deal with it. Right? It's not going anywhere. It's here. It's here to stay. Yeah? Yes?
My sister, her mother-in-law died, and we went to this funeral, and they have this massive family, it's a lot of people. And it was really sad that she died because she was quite a character. And she did this video of herself during her own eulogy. And I'll tell you something, I have never been to a funeral. She kept saying, I'm transitioning and I'm not on. And when you left that funeral, everybody felt good. And it was sad because they really loved her.
Right.
But I'll tell you something, I've never been to a funeral that you thought was okay that she died. And it was the most amazing thing
That's
I've
healing.
ever been to in my life.
That's very healing.
And I've been to a lot of funerals, and I'm sitting here going, man, that was really, if we could all go out like that in a celebration of life. And she loved to play.
Yeah.
She did. She was a dancer and everything, too. She was really amazing.
That's very healing. It's very healing. Yeah, it's our approach to it, right? Yes,
But
it's...
she made everybody feel good.
Yeah.
They were all grieving, but then when you left, everybody was smiling.
Yeah, like celebrating her.
And that just changed the whole mood around.
Yeah, change the energy.
So there's ways, if they did videotape that funeral, if people could learn grief counseling
Yeah.
like that, actually make something wonderful.
Well, there is, someone said it earlier, that freedom, like for me, when I think about it, freedom is really encompassing all of it, right? So there is celebration, and then there's grief, and then there's sadness, and then there's pain, like we are that. We're not like, I'm angry. It's never that way. And so if we accept that we're complex and there's beauty in the complexity, we can hold the container for all of it to exist. I think sometimes we're like, this is how you should grieve. This is how you should be happy, right? And that's not true. It's that we are the only ones that know what makes us happy. Like if sitting and drinking coffee makes me happy, I don't want an expert going, you should be da-da-da-da-da. It's like we should all over ourselves. I should be this way. This is how I should do it. And it's not true. It's not true. Don't shit on yourself. That's like my number one thing. My old yoga teacher said, I'm like, I should just be, and she's like, don't shit on yourself. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm stealing it. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be that way. Remember that you're the one in charge of creating it. Yeah? Someone else had their hand raised. Did you? Yes.
I think it was when you were talking about children and dealing with grief, if you have any great good suggestions, whether it's books or things like that.
I'll give you my email. I have a couple that are not specifically about grief, but they're about I am peace. One of them is my new favorite one. It's called The Magic Breath, and I like to read it. It's so great. It's like I think I bought it for me. Like I think I got it for my students, but I'm like on the down low reading it. And it's a beautiful book about when I'm feeling sad or when I'm feeling grief, or I have this magic breath inside of me. That I can inhale and exhale it all away. That's one way of handling grief. I know for me, breathing was not it. But I mean, for kids, and then there's other books that talk about I can draw. For me, anything sand therapy, anything play-based, as opposed to saying let's do grief therapy. we experience grief as adults every day, 50 times a day. We're losing something, and kids do too. So if we can just give them more of an allowance for their feelings, I think that really supports their experience. Does that make sense? Good. Any other questions or comments? I want to say thank you for playing with me. I know that you were like, what are we doing? I completely get that it's uncomfortable for you or wasn't uncomfortable for you. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you for doing that and playing with all of us today. It was really cool to watch. And, and if you have any questions, just let me know. But thank you so much. Thank you.